Hi everyone, and welcome to my review of the Moon Knight TV series that recently was broadcasted on Disney Plus. And before I go into it, I am not aware how many of you know that Disney Plus is going to be available for all of us in much of the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia. So, the days of struggling to watch our favorite movies and Marvel TV series are almost over. Next month is a really exciting month because not only Disney Plus is going to be here, but also Stan Lee's SuperCon is going to be taking place at Jeddah Superdome. Anyways, coming back to the TV series, I would like to thank Muhammad Diab for showing Foolish Shargawi during the final fight scene. So this is the only spoiler you guys are gonna get. Now, whatever I'm going to be sharing it with you is going to be spoiler. So if you haven't watched the series, if you haven't watched the final episode, please stop watching it now. Uh, Overall, Moon Knight, a very refreshing series. Did they change stuff from the comics? Definitely they did. For example, the character of Layla Al Fawli, she is not in the comics. Then at the same time, the split personalities of Mark Spector. One of them happens to be Stephen Grant. In the comic books, Stephen Grant is basically a Wall Street banker or an investor, whereas Jake Lockley is a cab driver in New York City, a street smart, typical cab driver. What we have seen about Jake Lockley is the fact that he was shown to be abducting Dr. Arthur Harrow from some ward in Spain because they were talking in Spanish. A tribute to Bill Sienkiewicz is a very refreshing tribute because for those of us who have been reading comics, if the name Moon Knight comes in, two names are synonymous with it. One is Doug Monch, the other one happens to be Bill Sienkiewicz. Bill Sienkiewicz is one of the best Marvel artists. His style is something like a mix of comic, where he has introduced abstract into how it can work really well with comic book art. His approach was quite unique, and based on that, whatever work that was done for Moon Knight, especially during the 80s, the credit goes to him as well as Doug Monch. The reason I am really impressed with Moon Knight, and this character has always been one of my favorites, is because he deals with something really, how should I say, um a reality that's not talked about: split personalities, multiple personality disorders. And this is a real human condition, by the way. And I asked a friend of mine who happens to be in the field of psychology, and I asked him that, I mean, is it possible for a person to have three different personalities, or three different personalities living in one person? So he said that it is quite possible, but at the same time, the biggest case of split personalities or multiple personality disorders was found in England, where the person had 12 different personalities. And this is the beauty of Marvel, that a lot of their characters are based on real life situations, sprinkled with superpowers and cosmic adventures and stuff. And the same thing goes for the Moon Knight series. Each and every character was well thought out. I was quite impressed at the way Muhammad Diab, the director, has approached this character, and the connection that he has with the Egyptian mythology, not only being restricted to Khonshu, but also, I mean, going down a bit deeper into it. Because by the end of the day, Mark Spector is a Jewish resident of New York City who happens to be a mercenary. But in Moon Knight comics, his Jewish background is really minimal, and more of it is involved with the Egyptian mythology. A character such as Moon Knight is so dangerous and so volatile that he can be challenged even by the likes of Kang. Can we see something like that? I sure think so, because Kang has been introduced in Marvel Studios Loki series, and at the same time, he himself, because of being a time traveler, has a very deep relationship with the Egyptian history. Will these guys be clashing later on? I don't know what's in the pipeline. I'm not even sure if there is going to be a season 2 for Moon Knight. I wish there was. This series was consistent, it was thrilling. The last episode fight scene was a bit of a drag, unfortunately, but overall, it was not as boring as Loki. It was not as a disappointment, especially the last episode, just like what we saw in Hawkeye, where the series was going at a much good pace, only to be ruined in the last episode. And the villain, the Kingpin, who makes his debut in MCU, his impact was diluted beyond repair. Here, Arthur Harrow is a better villain than in comics. Now, the only other series that has done that was Marvel's Luke Cage, which was broadcasted on Netflix, where we saw Mariah Dillard, a character that is representing Black Mariah, the the gangster queen, if you will, of Harlem. The portrayal of such characters in a much better way than comics is something I would call the highlight of a particular series or a particular movie. And I would say that Arthur Harrow, if I have to choose between Arthur Harrow in the comics and Arthur Harrow in the TV series, I would rather go with him. But the thing is that he is somewhat on the borderline of Aldrich Killian, a small time villain, not a major villain of Moon Knight, but thanks to the approach that was taken, he was quite lethal, quite fearsome, and Ethan Hawke did a marvelous job. Oscar Isaac, I think, I don't know, man, what to say. His acting skills are just par excellence. And then you just keep on looking into the voiceover that was done for Honshu, the lady who played Layla Al Foley, the way they showed the surroundings, all of it. Attention to detail played a very important role in this series, and it is quite refreshing. It is quite good compared to, like I said, Loki series. I was not impressed. Falcon and the Winter Soldier also I wasn't impressed. Hawkeye I really enjoyed. The last episode ruined it for me. This is what it is, and if you haven't watched Moon Knight series, please make sure you do that. And there is a lot that can happen with respect to this character within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I hope that these studio related issues do not damage the potential that is there. Moon Knight has been not part of the original Midnight Suns, but in later iterations he has been there. Whereas in Sony we have Morbius, the living vampire. Unfortunately, his movie has tanked. I still have to watch that movie in order to make sure if that is the case, because Jared Leto is my favorite actor. But when you have Doctor Strange, when you have Moon Knight, when you have Morbius, when you have Blade, and I hope that they are going to be introducing Ghost Rider soon, we can see a Midnight Suns movie being made. And I just hope they just don't lose this opportunity. So here are my 2 cents when it comes to the Moon Knight series. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And for those of you who still haven't watched this series, please make sure to do it as soon as you can, because you're really going to enjoy it. Have a great weekend, and I hope all of you had a wonderful Eid. Stay tuned for more.